I don't know what that was, but yeah. We're live for the deadline stream for the next 2.5 hours until 11 a.m. British summertime now. It's light outside. Life is good. We've got a massive double game week coming up. Lots of decisions to make on who to bring in, who to sell, whether to take a hit, who to captain. All of that is covered in the content I've got for you today. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to join and then I'll get right into everything I've got to show. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Happy Saturday. It's not particularly nice outside today, but that doesn't matter because we've got an exciting day of football in FPL lined up. But yeah, if you're watching, please make sure you say hello in the chat. This stream is all about interacting with you guys. So yeah, be interesting to hear your transfer plans, what you were up to this weekend, any of that jazz. Happy to hear it. See, we've got a few people online now, so give it another minute and I'll get through some of the stuff I've got to show today. I'm ready to... it's reverse, so I always point in the wrong direction. Bristol City, my local team, have got Reading at home today, so we'll be going to that after this stream. Our best player is a young English lad called Alex Scott, and he was playing for the England under-20s this weekend, and he did damaged a knee ligament in the game, so he's our best player, and probably everything we do goes through him pretty much. So yeah, it's typical roller coaster of supporting a championship team. Alexandru, good to see you, mate. It's all good. No pressure to chat or anything. Ben Vlogs, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. What I thought I'd do is we can have a little chat about this if you guys like. You let me know what your predictions are. But I thought I'd do a little score predictions feature, like I do every week. Just running through each of the games in a prediction for how they're going to go. So today, starting off, we've got Man City against Liverpool. From every time I've watched or seen, Ben, you are definitely one of my most regulars, mate. I was just saying, from every game of this fixture that I've seen, it tends to be really, really high scoring. So yeah, I think there's going to be 4 or 5 goals in this game. I think Man City will just edge it. I think they're slightly stronger than Liverpool defensively, even without Erling Haaland going forward. I think they can still score goals. I mean, they won the league last season without a striker, so I think they'll be just fine. And I think they'll win sort of 3-2. I think it'll be a close game, but Man City will probably just edge it. Arsenal and Leeds, I think, is only really going one way. And to be honest, I see a clean sheet here for Arsenal and a few goals. I think it's going to be something like 4-0 in this game. I don't really see a different scoreline. I know Tyler Adams is injured for Leeds. Wober, their new Polish centre-back, is also injured. So, yeah, Leeds seem quite depleted. And Arsenal just, yeah, they need to really kick on now and hit that title challenging form, which, well, they're already in it. They just need to kick on and keep winning games. So for me, I think that's a really easy game for Arsenal. It should be today. And they'll probably score 3 or 4 goals. Bournemouth, I think they probably just edge it v Fulham. I think just with the Mitrovic ban, I'm not sure what Fulham have going forward. And I know Bournemouth have got really something to fight for this season now. And they don't really have too much of a problem scoring goals. And they managed to keep Liverpool quiet, didn't they? Their home ground. So I think they could well keep a clean sheet against Fulham there and win 1-0. Brighton, I think they're going to beat Brentford 2-0. I say that as someone that's got Rico Henry and Raya in my team at the moment. I'm thinking of my transfer this week is going to be going Rico Henry to Estupinian. That might be my transfer. I know it's a bit swapping a doubler for a doubler, but I think it makes sense. Palace and Leicester, I think it's just going to be a 0-0 game. I think Hodgson's Palace, they're going to be sitting back and resolute, but they don't really offer much going forwards. They don't have a centre forward, and I've just not seen too much out of them recently. So I think that'll probably be a 0-0 game. Forest, and I see Ben, you're saying without Brennan Johnson, I agree they probably don't have that much goal threat, but they just seem to be so good at home. They really have a home form factor. So I think they'll probably nick a couple of goals and beat Wolves in that game. Chelsea Villa, it's really hard to call that one. Emery v a team that struggled to score goals in Chelsea. I think Chelsea are pretty decent defensively now. They seem to have nailed a decent system that works for them. Got Enzo Fernandez in the back three working well, but I just don't see them scoring. I think Villa are going to be very resolute under Emery for this game. And I don't really see either team scoring. I think it's probably going to be the one fixture this weekend that's a 0-0. Similar really with West Ham, Southampton. I think both teams probably edge each other out in a sense. Might score a goal each, so I've gone for 1-1 for that one. Newcastle and United. I think both teams are pretty good. Newcastle definitely improving defensively with Bruno Guimaraes, Schär and Pope back in the fray. So I do see that. I do see them challenging Man United for that one. I think that could be a score draw, 2-2, something like that. Which is one of the reasons why I'm not going to go for Luke Shaw this week, because I don't see how Man United keep a clean sheet. As a bit of a Man United supporter myself, I think they're good going forward and half decent defensively, but they're not solid. You know, they seem to concede pretty much every game, just the odd goal here and there, but they win their games by scoring the most goals. So, and yeah, without Casemiro, as Ben rightly says, I think Newcastle could well get a couple of goals in that game. Everton and Spurs, I think it's going to be a typical Dyche performance by Everton. You know what you're getting with them. And for Spurs, they're just in absolute pandemonium at the moment. I see like that's a Kane goal, 1-1 game for me, in my opinion. Bournemouth, Brighton, again, I think Bournemouth probably score against Brighton. They seem to find a way to score against pretty much everyone. But I think Brighton will be too much for them. Probably win that 3-1. Leeds and Forest, I just think with the weakness Leeds have defensively, I think that game could end. It'd be a score draw, something like 1-1. I've gone for 2-2. Same with Leicester and Aston Villa. I think, yeah, just have a feeling that's going to be 1-1. And then Chelsea probably grind out a draw against Liverpool, in my opinion. But with just how weak Liverpool are defensively, I think Chelsea might be able to nick a couple of goals against them. Man United, Brentford, I've gone for 3-1 in that game. I think Man United will be too good for Brentford, but I do see Brentford being able to score. They always just seem so dangerous on like the counter-attack and stuff, and that's what Man United sometimes struggle with. So yeah, I could see Brentford scoring in that one, but Man United winning. And then West Ham and Newcastle, I think Moyes will set up quite like defensively for that game, but as we know, Newcastle are a pretty good team, so I think they'll win that, but grind out like a 1-0 win or something like that. But yeah, that's what I think. Let me know in the chat if you agree or disagree with any of those. I see we've got some thoughts coming in there. Ben Vlog saying, yeah, it doesn't see Forest scoring that many. That's fair enough. I just think their home factor for that Wolves fixture is going to have something to play. But yeah, maybe Leeds away is going to be a bit tougher. But I do see just Leeds as a weak defensive team. So I do see Forest being able to get a couple of goals in that one. Alexandru back in Chelsea to win. Fair enough. I just think with Liverpool, they've got a pretty solid front line back in the fray now. I think pretty much all of their forwards are fit again, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Jota's not back fit. I'm pretty sure Diaz is coming back. Nunez is obviously fit. Salah, Firmino, I think is fit as well. So yeah, I don't know. I just see Liverpool being able to score some goals this week. What have we got next? So yeah, so basically the next feature is just the top players per position for expected points. So I won't go through them all, but I'll just go through the top 3 or 4. So for goalkeepers, and the source of this data is DraftHound, by the way, and you'll see DraftHound appear quite a lot throughout this stream. So the top goalkeeper this week for expected points is Brighton Steele. He's got 8.9 expected points. Obviously, the question mark with Steele is how long is he going to keep his place in the team, and is he worth buying? I mean, from my perspective, I probably wouldn't, because I think Sanchez is such a good goalkeeper. I don't know. I see Sanchez getting back in the team at some point. Kepa in second place, who's going to be my starting goalkeeper this week, followed by De Gea and Pope. And top defenders, we've got Trippier in first, Estupiñán, Chilwell, Veltman and Dunk. So basically list is dominated by, Trippier is just the best defender in FPL, it would seem at the moment, followed by some Brighton and Chelsea players. It would Luke Shaw and Zuma up there as well. And then the top midfielders and forwards. So we've got Rashford at the top of pretty much he is the top of all players this week for expected points with 11.5. He's about half a point clear of the rest of the players. Salah in second for the midfielders, followed by Matoma, McAllister, Fernandes and March. So really all the players that I think people are targeting this week are amongst the top for expected points. I think Brennan Johnson's injured, so ignore him on the forwards, but top for forwards this week is Alexander Isak from Newcastle, which is quite an interesting one. I think he's quite an exciting player to really bring into your team. Doesn't seem to be that much between him and Wilson, to be honest, which I guess is the risk of bringing him in. Is he going to start every game? Ferguson in second for Brighton. I really like him as an option. It's just unfortunate that I think there are probably 3 or 4 better FPL assets than Ferguson, just in the sense that, the likes of Matoma, McAllister, March and Estupinian are probably more nailed. The expected points, there's not much between them. So you'd probably favour the more nailed to start players. Then Havertz, I'll ignore Johnson because I think he's injured. Tony, Danny Ings is up there. Ollie Watkins, Felix, Darwin Núñez, Solanke and Daka. But again, I think with that Leicester striker spot, it's a bit of a risk as to who plays really. And then we got the goal odds. So basically the likelihood of a player to score a goal this game week and their likelihood to be involved in a goal. And the guy top of the expected points, Rashford, is just the best this week according to the expected points and goal involvement odds. I think he's going to be my captain. There was probably a question. Yeah, Alexandra, I'm going to go for Rashford, captain. And thank you, Ben. I missed that message. Thank you for saying I'm your favourite. I appreciate that very much. I don't have enough cash to bring Bruno in. If I were to bring Bruno in for Saka, it would leave me with not enough cash to buy Erling Haaland next week. I just don't think that's a smart move. And I wouldn't worry necessarily about the doublers that you have on your bench, Jordan. I'm tempted to go in without a single double outfield player on my bench. I've got Kane, Saka and Zinchenko. And it's not often you have 3 players of that quality on your bench. Even though they don't have a double game week, I still think their expected points is really good. So, I wouldn't worry too much if you don't have doublers. It's just the quality of your bench. Because there's not many, there's barely a game week goes by where you have 3 players of really high quality on your bench. And those are the times when you should use your bench boost. So I consider having a different think about that, Jordan, because you don't necessarily have to have double game week players on your bench to make the bench boost viable, in my opinion. And while I've been talking through that, you can see the rest of the players for goal odds. This is in sort of no particular order because it's quite hard to sort and add up percentages, but you can see on this list here players for clean sheet odds, or teams, for clean sheet odds. Arsenal, 50% v Leeds. It's the highest single fixture. Brighton, I think they're pretty, this week they seem to be really good for clean sheet odds. Oh yeah, Tarkowski, Pereira, Haaland, in the nicest way possible. That's probably not the time to bench boost then. I'd probably wait until game week 34. I'll show the fixtures later on, but I think the time to play is probably game week 34 when there's another big double. Sounds like your team might be better set up for that as well. But yeah, the reason I'm selling Henry, or considering selling Henry for Estupinian, is just for clean sheet odds alone. I think it's the most sensible transfer. I don't see Brentford keeping a clean sheet at all this week. Brighton away, Man United away, 2 really tough fixtures for them. And they're not the best defensive side, in my opinion. I think Raya is up there for points as a goalkeeper because he gets saves pretty much every game, which is fine for him. But there's not enough backup for the likes of Pinnock, Henry, etc. And I don't want Rico Henry in my team for long term. So I'm tempted to swap him out for Estupinian this week. I think that's a profitable transfer. So that's where my mind's going for that. It's annoying because, I don't know if it is annoying because last game week I took out Estupinian for Chilwell, and I feel like that was a sensible move. And then bringing in Estupinian again this week, it seems a bit hokey cokey, but it just seems a sensible move. I've got a little captaincy feature coming up next, Alexandra. You've asked that at the right time. So yeah, here's your list. Here's your list of top players, regardless of position, for expected points. I think my favourite captain that isn't Rashford this week is actually McAllister. Now, I know he's not top for expected points, but just the fact that he's backed up by taking all the set pieces and penalties for Brighton, I think that makes him a really exciting option. So yeah, I'd probably say McAllister if I wanted to be a bit different. Maddison doesn't really, he's in my team, but he doesn't interest me for a captaincy. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I'll probably go McAllister, followed by Salah, followed by Mitoma, I think. So yeah, my captaincy order would be Rashford, McAllister, Salah, Mitoma. I don't think I'd be giving the armband to Isak because just not sure if he's going to play both games of the double for 90 minutes or for, long periods of the game. I don't think Bruno is the best captain, not because he's a bad player or anything, but I just don't know what role he's going to play for Man United with the Casemiro injury. He could play that deep-lying midfielder role or a deeper lying role, which he did at the start of the season. And when he was playing that role at the start of the season, his underlying numbers were not very good at all. He was, one of, nothing to write home about in terms of underlying numbers. So, yeah, he just wasn't that good for attacking output in that position. Could go for an outside shot on someone like March as well. He's a bit lower for expected points. I'm not entirely sure why. I think, Mitoma, McAllister and March, not much to choose between them. And I'd probably say of the three, McAllister's my favourite. Hopefully that helps you, Alexandra. I don't really have a definitive answer on that one, but I think there's a sort of ranking that I would give. I'm just going to fix my windows a second. Ben Vlogs, he's on a free hit, played his wildcard early and set up quite well for blank 32. He's going to bench boost to 34, free hit this week. Yeah, of course, Ben, I'd be happy to go through your team in a second. I agree. All those Brighton mids are nailed. I don't think there's anything to write home because I think there was a bit of rumours on Twitter. I don't know if you're big on Twitter, Ben, but just about the level of international travel that those Brighton midfielders were doing, given that Mitoma was in Japan, McAllister being in Argentina. There was just a bit of doubt as to whether they'd be around to play, but I think they'll be just fine. Steele for Ward and Burn for Shaw. Is the -4 worth it playing bench boosters? Thank you very much, Graham. I like Steele this week. So this week alone, I like him because he's the top goalkeeper for expected points. But I just feel at some point, Sanchez is too good to be sitting on the Brighton bench. And I think the manager has said that Steele is first choice at the moment, but he'd absolutely shit on Sanchez. So I still think Sanchez is a threat, and I think as soon as Steele makes a mistake, Sanchez goes back in the team. So I think for this 1 week alone, Steele is a good player to bring in. But I think I'm just not sure it's the best option. I like Pope this week. And he also doesn't... It depends what your chip strategy is as well, I would suggest. Because really, all of your transfers you make this week... it has to be, with Gameweek 32 or whatever chip strategy you're playing in mind. So, because obviously Gameweek 32 being a blank, it puts you off potentially bringing in some players. But if you've still got your free hit left for 32, for example, then it sort of changes your transfer ideas and you're not worried about, bringing in players that blank. Oh, you just missed it, Associate. I was just talking through captaincy. Excuse me. I was just saying, I think my order would be Rashford, McAllister, Salah, Mitoma as my 4. I think there's a good load there. And to be honest, the players on this list, if you went with anyone, apart from Isaac, because I'm not sure, Isaac or Isaac, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. He's probably not nailed to start every game, but I'd say the rest of the players are. So really anyone on this list is a good captain, apart from probably Isaac, because just not sure about his minutes. So yeah, talking about the fixtures, and I think someone was talking about free hitting and bench boosting, etc. Like we're saying, and like Jordan was saying, if your team's not set up to bench boost this week, there's not I wouldn't suggest there's a huge amount of pressure to. I think your chip strategy should depend on, the state of your individual team. A lot of people are going to have a similar team who either wildcarded in 26 or 27. I think that goes without saying. But if your team's not set up to bench boost this week, I wouldn't worry about it. You've got Game Week 34, which is a double for, 6 teams? So that's also a really good chance to play your bench boost if you wanted to. I mean, Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Man City, Man United and West Ham. not the worst teams in the world. And to be honest, you can make, you can make a full 15 of, just 5 of those teams if you really wanted to. So I don't think bench boosting in 34s are too bad an idea. But you've just got to make sure your team is, basically, you've got to come up with a sort of longish term plan for your team and work back and work out when's the best time to play that chip. And I wouldn't necessarily worry about filling your team with double game week players for your bench boost. You just want to fill your team with players you think are going to score the most points. So, for example, my team at the moment, I've got Rico Henry in it, and Zinchenko. And I'm deciding who to take out and still play in my bench boost. And I'm more tempted to get rid of Rico Henry, even though he's got a double game week, because I think Zinchenko's going to outscore him. Boo Boo asks, so he's saying, no, he doesn't ask, he's just saying Martinelli, Saka and Son are out. Salah, Fernandes, Maddison, Bowen and McAllister. I don't like the idea of taking Saka out. I'm not going to get rid of Saka. I just think he's too good an option. Even though he only has a single this week, it's Leeds at home. Like, could you think of a much better fixture than Leeds at home? I'm not sure I could. For that reason, I'm sticking with Saka. And to be fair, Saka to Bruno would be a move I'd consider. But if I were to bring in Bruno, I can't afford to bring Haaland back into my team. So, I'm going to stick with Saka. Yes, Alexandria, I appreciate you saying that. If you're new to the stream or new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and it would be absolutely lovely to have you along for the journey with me. I'm in it for the long haul, make 2 or 3 FPL videos a week and a deadline stream every weekend. So yeah, I'll create loads of content for you if you subscribe. And yeah, if you're enjoying what you're watching so far, please leave me a like rating on the stream. I'd really appreciate it. And then speaking of my team, this is what it's looking like at the moment. So I did previously have Rico Henry in there. Haven't made my transfer yet, but I'm considering getting rid of Rico Henry for Estupinian. And then I'll go through the rest of my team. So I've got Kepa in goal, one of the best goalkeepers this game week. Trippier, Chilwell, Botman as my 3 other defenders. I'm quite happy with those 3 guys. Not sure if Botman's going to score well this week. I'm not sure how many clean sheets Newcastle get. Trippier doesn't really matter. He's got potential of bonus points in attacking returns in every game. I think Chilwell's going to have a pretty tidy week. Not expecting a clean sheet in the Liverpool fixture, but he's got 2 home games, and I do think he could probably get an attack and return v Liverpool. So yeah, not too put off by that fixture. Rashford is my captain. I just think I'm not the kind of guy to go different on a captain when it's going to be so set in stone this week. He looks to be fit, and he looks like he's going to start both games, so I'll go with Rashford as my captain. Well, unless something drastic happens. Mitoma, March and Maddison. Really wish I had McAllister. I think McAllister's the best of the 3 Brighton midfielders, but unfortunately I decided that he was the best after I'd played my wild card and the deadline had hit, so I'm stuck with Mitoma and March, but that's hardly the worst thing in the world. Maddison is my 4th midfielder. I'm quite happy with him. I think you could probably do better this game week than Maddison. Just not overly sold by Leicester, but he's in my team and he's a perfectly decent option. Tony and Watkins up front. God, I hope Tony doesn't get a ban this week. He needs 1 more yellow card to pick up. I think it's either a 2 or a 3 game ban. So if he gets a yellow in the Brighton fixture, that means he's only got a single game week. So hopefully he stays yellow free in his first fixture and plays the double. Watkins, perfectly happy with him. Backup of penalties, etc. I think he's a great option. My transfer next week, I think regardless of what happens with Tony, will be Tony to Haaland, because I think Haaland, he's probably not going to start against Liverpool in my opinion, but he will be fit for game week 30 and he's got Southampton. So I think Haaland is the best captain in 30, so I'll be getting rid of Tony for him. And then my bench, I'm going to be bench boosting, but I've got a bench full of single game week players. But my thinking behind this was, I know they're not doublers, but like they're 3 of the best fixtures you could really ask for these teams. Raya obviously has a double, and then I've got Kane, Saka and Zinchenko. You know, I back Kane and Saka both to score this game week, and I back Zinchenko to keep a clean sheet too. So it's really hard for me to justify selling these guys for a double game week player, and I'd have to do it for a hit. So yeah, I'm just not sure it's worth it. I can't do Saka to Fernandes because it doesn't leave me the cash to bring Haaland back in. So I think I'm stuck with Saka. When I say stuck, I think Saka's a really good option this week. And if you look at his expected points being around 7, similar to the big guns that have a double game week, so I'm not too worried about just leaving him in my team. I mean, let me know what you think in the chat, but I'm not massive on taking hits to get rid of these players because I'd either want them back or be worried about not having them. So yeah, that's how my team's looking. And then this is the Draft Hound AI selected team. So basically the players with the top points and the top 11 you can make. I won't go through all the players. I think to some people they'll be quite obvious, but yeah, these are the top. This is the dream team, if you like, according to the expected points for the week. And I imagine quite a few of you probably have players stacked from this team. So, and importantly, just looking at the expected points, if we just go back to it, so Saka's is 6.9 and Bruno's is 9.9. So if you're taking a -4 from Saka to Bruno, is that worth 4 points? Not this game week, at least. So it's putting me off. It's putting me off making that move. Yeah, I do think Reece James is a minute's risk, mate. Yeah, this assumes that each player starts both games, to be fair. So yeah, I think Reece James is always a minute's risk. Chilwell seems to be pretty safe at the moment. He seems to be like 100% fit. And yeah, starting regularly for Chelsea, but I think Reece James is being nursed and rested. So yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say he's a bit of a minute's risk, and I'd prefer Chilwell. A little bit of the roundup of the news. So Marcus Rashford trained with the Man United team yesterday and is fully expected to be fit. And I think Ten Hag was just praising him for taking a little bit of a break and going to New York over the international break. So I think Rashford's going to be fit to start both double games. Haaland, Pep has been unsurprisingly coy about whether he's going to play against Liverpool. Says he'll see how he feels after the training session. I will keep it locked on Twitter and Team News and Ticks to find out if there's any team leaks. Try to avoid any April Fool's jokes. Ultimately, for me, it doesn't matter because I don't have Haaland in your team. But if you do and you're worried about him, I'll try and keep you as up to date and filter out all the April Fools as much as possible. Big man Bakar is thinking that he should be fine for game week 30, could even play tomorrow. I'd be inclined to agree with him. Boo-boo, I think the Liverpool fixture is a good game for Saka. I really do. I just think he can. Liverpool not amazing defensively, and I think he could do well in that game. I know it's away at Anfield, but I still feel like he could do all right. I really do. Just on the Newcastle defence, I just know that Botman's a really popular pick, and he's yellow flagged at the moment, but he was back in full training, so I think he'll be fine. Then a tweet in the bottom right just confirms all the press conference news. So if you've got Havertz and Reece James or worried about either of those two, they're back in training. We already know that Nick Pope and Botman are fine. I just went through that. Rashford's back in full training. Foden had an appendix removed, so he's a down. I don't think he's going to play this weekend. Haaland, don't think he's trained. And then Saliba is ruled out for Arsenal. So yeah, just all those things to monitor, basically. And next up, I've got some players along with some stats that I think are targets this week to bring in. If you've watched my YouTube videos this week, this is basically a cut and paste from some of the content there, but I think it's still valid. Like, these players are the best in the game to pick this week. So starting off, I've got Luke Shaw. I'm not going to bring him in personally, and I'm going to favour Estupinian. But yeah, he only played one game during the international break because he got sent off, so he's going to be 100% fit and ready to go. He's the first choice left back for Man United, in my opinion. I know he's got Malacia, but I think Malacia is considered a backup, really. And Shaw can play centre back as well, even if Malacia plays. So I'd expect Shaw to play both games of the double. His expected returns are not amazing compared to other left backs, but I think that's slightly tainted by the fact he has played centre back. So I think he's a perfectly decent option this week. And yeah, his expected points for the remaining fixtures are there. And I think especially if you're playing your free hit in 32 and don't have to worry about him blanking, I think that makes him an even stronger transfer in this week. Next up, I had Isak. As I was saying, he's obviously a minutes risk with Wilson being fit, and I don't think there's too much to choose between Isak and Wilson in terms of quality. But the guy's underlying numbers are absolutely ridiculous. He's got 0.88 expected returns per 90, so he's the third best striker in the Premier League according to the underlying numbers, only to Darwin Núñez and Haaland, and he's 6.7 million. So yeah, I think he's a great option. And it's probably too late in the day now for the Premier League to arrange the fixture, but there was, and probably still is, a very small chance of an additional double with a Brighton game being chucked in for Newcastle in Gameweek 31. But yeah, I think he's a really good option. It's just whether you want to take the minutes risk for me. I don't think you can ever ignore Mo Salah. I know he's got 2 away games, and Ben, I think, is a bit against the Liverpool attack by the looks of what he said, but Salah always seems to do well against Man City and score a few goals. And I don't think Chelsea, they're okay defensively, but I don't think they're as strong as the 3 at the back, Tuchel Chelsea with Rudiger at the back, for example. So I could see Salah quite easily scoring in these 2 games. And he's only had 1 penalty this season as well. So I'd suggest, I know he missed it against Bournemouth, but I'd suggest he's due a penalty again soon. And yeah, he's just got a good record against Man City, and his underlying numbers, they're not as good as they have been, but 0.7 expected returns per 90 is still like elite level playing, so I still think he's a good option. And as you look forward as well, game week 32, Nottingham Forest at home, I think he's probably the best captain for 32, so if you're looking long term in terms of a player to buy and hold, I think Salah really is one of those guys. I've gone for Evan Ferguson as a very outside chance. Probably most people's teams aren't going to be structured in a way that allow you to bring him in, but I just think he's just such an exciting player. And at 4.6 million for a guy that's got 0.49 expected returns per 90, and he's actually nearly got 1 return per 90 in the Premier League so far, so he's a really good option. And I think, we're talking about minutes risks, etc. I think he's playing well enough now to nail a place in that starting 11 over Welbeck. And if you did bring him in, maybe it allows you to restructure your team a little bit. I said 5 mids with Haaland and Kane. Obviously, Haaland's not an option this week. But yeah, having a really cheap striker like this allows you to restructure your team in a slightly more exciting and interesting way than we're all set up with at the moment. So I really like him as an option if you want to take a risk. I probably wouldn't be captaining him this week, but I definitely wouldn't hold it against anyone if they were looking to bring him in. I think he's a really exciting option. I think we've got a couple more to go. Yeah, I can't ignore Bruno Fernandes. I personally can't bring him in myself because my budget just doesn't allow it. But obviously he's got a double in 29, double in 34 as well. So especially if you're playing your free hit in 32 when he blanks, I think he's a great transfer in this week. Regardless of the position that he plays, he's the Man United penalty taker. And Man United, I don't know, they seem to get more penalties than most teams. Not because I don't think the refs necessarily favour them for penalties. I just think the way they play, their players get brought down a bit more in the box. And I do think regardless of the position he plays as well, they've come into better form. Bruno has come into better form since returning for the World Cup. And if anything happens to him or he just looks rubbish, you can just straight swap him for Saka. You'd probably be selling Saka for him this week. If you wanted to, you could just straight swap Saka back in if you're unhappy and just get a good player back in your team. And yeah, his underlying numbers are also really good. 0.62 expected returns per 90. It's about the same level that the likes of Odegaard and Martinelli have been playing at. Obviously, just slightly more weighted towards assists rather than goals, but you still get points for assists. And then just a little feature on the Brighton midfielders, obviously. We know there are 3. There ain't much to choose between them. I've put their expected return stats there. So you can make a decision for yourself, basically. In my opinion, I think McAllister is probably the best of the 3. When he plays in that more advanced midfield position, he tends to mop up those chances with his late runs into the box, and he's the free kick and penalty taker for Brighton. So, yeah, I think he ticks quite a few boxes there. March is probably my second favourite, just because he's got the second best expected goal stats, and De Zerbi he's putting a lot of attacking responsibility on him. Mitoma, it's hard to say because he's top for expected points, but in my opinion, he's probably the third best of this lot, purely because he has the worst XG. But ultimately, I mean, 0.48, 0.5, 0.47 expected returns per 90, that's nothing between them. So for me, you could even flip a coin between the three of them. And I imagine we're going to do quite a few coin flips this stream. So if you want me to help you make some decisions, I think I've found the coin of truth again. I lost it last week. So yeah, we can use that to great effect. And then finally, this is the transfer that I'm considering this week. I'm going to get rid of Rico Henry for Estupinian. Basically because I just don't see Brentford keeping a clean sheet this week, and their clean sheet odds are absolutely horrendous. 17% against Brighton away, 16% against Man United away. Those are terrible. Comparing them to Brighton, it looks like, well, they've gone up even more than that. They're 48% now to keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth. Yeah, I think the Brighton clean sheet odds are just too good to ignore, and at the moment, yeah, I'm only doubled up on Brighton. So Estupinian, I think, is a great option, and I'm definitely considering bringing him into my team. And I think this will be the transfer that I make this week. And yeah, that's the end of my slides. I've got Draft Hound open. One of the little features I do on this live stream, basically Draft Hound has a feature where I can search your team in FPL, and it will pull it up on my screen, and we can have a look at it. So in the chat, if you want to let me know your FPL team name, do so. I'll search it in Draft Hound, find it, and we can pull it up on the screen and have a look at it. I'll just catch up on the chat. I think I responded there to Boo Boo. Yeah, I hope the Liverpool players don't upset us. I've just got a feeling about Salah this week. Daniel, I think it depends. Whether you bring Saka or Bruno in depends on when you're playing your free hit. So if you're playing your free hit in 32, then I would bring Bruno in because he doubles. I just think he's got a better run. But if you're not playing your free hit in 32, it's Salah because Salah doesn't blank in 32. I wouldn't do Fabianski in because Areola is fighting for his position. So yeah, I think Areola, Fabianski, there's no clear goalkeeper. I think Raya and Kepa are the two best. So if you don't have Kepa, I'd bring Kepa in, especially if you're playing your free hit in 32. I'll have a look at your team, Ben. No problem at all. Really don't know what to do. Only got his wild card left. Blank game week 32, causing me grief. What 5 players would you choose to bring in now that blank in 32? Well, to be honest, mate, I think it's the top players for expected points this week. So, yeah, I mean, Rashford, Matoma, McAllister, Estupinian, Fernandez, March, those Ferguson, all those guys, they've got a blank in 32. So I'd be bringing those guys in. But I guess is your question, Dan, that don't blank rather than that do? Because if you're talking don't blank, it's Salah, Isak, Trippier obviously doesn't blank, Maddison doesn't blank. In fact, we can pull out the fixtures. So just looking. So yeah, so Saka doesn't blank, for example. So I'd leave him in. That do blank. Sorry, I'll stop. So which goalkeepers would I bring in this week? So Raya looks good with a double. Some people have gone for Alisson. I don't fancy that. I think De Gea is a perfectly decent option this week. I'm not sure how many clean sheets Man United get, but they will make some saves, so don't mind that. I think Nick Pope's a perfectly decent option, and he doesn't blank in 32 either. Yeah, Dan, Pope is fit. He's back in training, so I think he's good to go. Yeah, I think Pope and De Gea, if you don't have either of those and looking for a goalkeeper to bring in, I think are good options. I don't like Fabianski. I'm not saying West Ham are rubbish or anything. I just don't know what his minutes are. And Ben rightly said he's a minutes risk. Just don't know if he's going to play. Right, we've got to have a look at Ben's team. I'm not going to repeat it because it's explicit and I might get taken down. I don't know what the rules are on swearing on YouTube. I do actually swear, by the way. I just don't do it on YouTube because I don't know what the rules are. Oh, it's not working. Let's refresh. Oh, brilliant. I got to log in again. Hang on. I'll just switch to another screen while I log in. Oh, Draft Hound is just crashed by the looks of it. Sorry, pal. Looks like we've got a crashed Draft Hound at the moment. I'll switch browsers and see. 2 secs. Yeah, Draft Hound's crashed at the moment. I'll try it again in 10-15 minutes time. See if it's blanked. Free hit team though, Ben, is this one. If you were to, ask me, am I going to play a free hit this week? It would be... Where did I put it? I mean, this is it. This is the free hit team. If you're a free hit in this week, probably wouldn't have Reece James in it. But if I was free hitting, this would be my team. I mean, it's the Draft Hound dream team, basically. Probably without Reece James. I think I might go probably Shaw instead of James. He's a bit cheaper. I think Isaac's, if you're on a free hit, I think it's worth the punt. Because I think even if he only plays one game, the upside of him is too good. Because if you compare him to someone like Tony, Tony could well get a yellow card and only play one as well. So I think Isaac, Tony, comparing the minutes, is quite similar. So I probably would go for Isaac, but not sure about Reece James. I'd probably go Shaw over James. And if you don't fancy Isaac at all, just go for like Watkins. Because you can pretty much guarantee he's going to play both. Or Ferguson as well. I don't mind Ferguson as a bit of a punt. If you like Maddison, Bowen, Ings, go for Ings. Havertz, yeah. Havertz is a good option. I don't mind Havertz. Yeah, I'd say most of this team is what I'd go for. And then there are definitely positions that are interchangeable. Do I take a -12 to bring in a Brighton defender for Ben Mee? Sorry, I didn't answer that question. I'm using a free transfer to do it. I'd suggest, Jordan, if you're playing, are you playing your free hit in 32? Because if you are, then yes, probably. If you're not, then definitely not. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, the thing is, Daniel, it might give you 11 doublers, but that's doublers on paper. It doesn't necessarily mean the players are actually going to play 2 games. And I don't think you can guarantee that Fabianski is going to play both. So I would be tempted just to stick with a single game week goalkeeper this week. Best striker replacement for Kane. Havertz, I wouldn't replace Kane either. I think Kane is a perfectly decent option. But if you were striker replacements, I think, well, really, you've got to look at the top players for expected points, haven't you? I mean, it's this list here. Take your pick of that list, apart from Brennan Johnson, because I think he's injured. Just going to see if Draft Hound's fixed. No, it's still frozen. I think everyone's using it to prepare for your team and prepare for the game week, so their servers are down at the moment. What I'm going to do then is go on FPL. There we go. I'll help you with your team, Ben, as soon as Draft Hound comes back available. But for the time being, I'm afraid we're just going to have to sit on the FPL window with no expected points or anything. So yeah, got one free transfer. I'll go on the pick team screen. What I'm not going to do, because my team doesn't hinge on the Man City team news, and I just have a feeling, because Haaland is an injury doubt, I've got a feeling the game's going to freeze. So I'm going to make my transfers at 10:30, because I'm not going to get any more news about Estupinian or anyone like that I'm bringing in. So I'm going to make my moves at 10:30 and then just, do it all at 10:30. So hopefully the game doesn't freeze on me and screw me over like it has done in the past. But yeah, that's how I'm lining up so far. Rico Henry is going to be the player to go for Estupinian, and then I've got a decision as to whether I want to take any hits. Don't think I'm going to do so though. I'm quite happy with my team. But yeah, let me know if you've got any more questions. Any suggestions you think I could do with my team? I'm open to hearing what you guys think. Obviously, I'm live streaming for the deadline, but ultimately, like, FPL is about sharing knowledge and stuff, isn't it? So yeah, if you've got any suggestions for my team, I'd be happy to hear it. The one move that I can't do, like Saka to Bruno, makes sense in my opinion if you can afford to do it. And I wouldn't hold it against anyone if they did do it, but I can't afford to bring Haaland back into my team if I sold Saka for Fernandes. So yeah, quite simply, I can't do that move. And Ben, I've got another, so I play another game called Fan Team, which is basically the same as FPL, but with prize money and no chips. You get 2 wildcards for the season, and I decided to play my wildcard this game week. And the game weeks follow FPL, and I brought Bowen into that team. So I don't mind Bowen. I think I've mentioned him in one of my videos as a bit of a differential option. And this season, Bowen has been underperforming his underlying numbers, which suggests, with a bit of luck anyway, that he catches up towards the end of the season and starts getting some actual attacking returns. And I think with 2 doubles in the next, for the remainder of the season, and looking at the remaining fixtures, you know, West Ham are up there for the teams with the most fixtures. They've got 12 left. I know one of the doubles is Man City, but I mean, a scrappy goal against Man City is always possible. I don't mind those fixtures for Bowen. Oh, Jordan, the -12 is so tough. It really is so tough. I'm sorry if I'm dodging your question. I think it's a coin flip. I think it calls for the coin of truth. So we decide. So would you like heads, do the -12, tails, don't? So which side of the coin is do the -12, heads or tails? Let me know and I'll flip a coin for you, because I really don't think... I think that's such a tough call. I really do. Felix or Nunes? Bloody hell. Nunes. I could do a coin flip for you, Daction, if you like. So I'm just raiding my coin box to get it out. 2 secs. Oh, maybe I don't have it after all. No, I got it. It's all good. So this is... I went on a holiday to Bali over winter, and I took home a very special coin, which is a 500 Indonesian rupiah, which has become the international or universal coin of truth for FPL decision making. So yeah, if you want me to flip the coin on a 50-50 decision, I'm more than happy to. Because sometimes that's the best way to decide who to captain. So we were doing tails for Jordan is take a -12. I'll let you know. By the way, heads is the 500 side, because there isn't a heads or tails on this coin. And it's landed on tails. I have 1 single game week player spot without a bench boost. Kane or Saka? Saka. He won over Kane last week for the captaincy. I think you've got to back him again. And yeah, Spurs are away. Everton are better defensively than Leeds are. I think I'd go Saka. I wouldn't transfer Saka out to Bruno for a hit, but it would depend on as well what your chip strategy is, Saronic. Sorry if I've mispronounced your name. But Bruno blanks in 32, so if you're planning to play your free hit in 32, then it makes it a better move. But if you're not, then you've got to keep Saka because he doesn't blank. And over the course of the season, Bruno's only got 1 extra fixture, so I don't think it makes sense. What was the coin flip for Dakshin? Felix or Nunes? I'm going to decide it for you. So this side is Darwin Nunes. This side is Felix. Oh, the coin hit me then. That was Darwin Núñez, by the way. I'm pretty sure. There you go. The bird, Darwin Núñez. Honestly, mate, I don't think, like, difficult fixtures. I'm on the wrong player. Should we just have a look at Saka's performances in difficult fixtures? So goals scored is this column, right? So he scored against Man United away, scored 2 against Liverpool at home, scored another one against Man United at home, got an assist, scored against Man City at home. His away performance is not bad. He scores goals away from home as well. Like, I know they're I know for Saka, I just think Saka's a good option. I wouldn't be selling him. Wouldn't be rushing to sell him, mate. Mark, you could do Castagna for Zinchenko, but I think it's much of a muchness, really. I don't think Leicester are good enough defensively. I think if you take doing it for a hit, absolutely not. And I'm not in a major rush to sell Zinchenko either myself, to be honest. Do I think Ings will start both? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I can have a look at Danny Ings' performances. I don't think there's too much data to go by, though. I've got to be honest with you. Yeah, he's not really played many minutes this season, has he? I mean, he's started the last 3 for West Ham, played good minutes. Oh, if Scamacca and Antonio are doubts, then he might well do. So you're saying easy home games. Well, Villa, he didn't score. Forest, he scored 2. Wolves, he scored. Scored 2 against Brighton, away from home. Scored 2 against Brentford at home. And then scored against Everton at home. Easy home, not too bad a record, I suppose. Oh, Brennan Johnson's injured, mate. Definitely play Kane. Good luck, Jordan, mate. Dakshin already have. Oh, hello, Ben. By the way, yeah. Let me know what you think. Do you think if you're still here, Ben? Ben's a big Liverpool fan. He's a good mate of mine. People were asking about Saka having difficult fixtures. Do you think, Ben, that Saka could score against your team, Liverpool? If Ben's answer is yes, then I don't think Saka has difficult fixtures. I know, Boo Boo, I haven't set up a mini league yet. Can you do them in the middle of the season? Because I only started doing it FPL YouTube about like 4 or 5 months ago, so I didn't set one up at the start. Yeah, Ben, I mean, look at my team. I'm going to bench boost this week, and I only have, I've only got, what's that? Well, 12 doublers in total. But I've got a bench of no doublers, so... I'm not big on selling the Arsenal players. I'm going to keep hold of Zinchenko and Saka and not take a hit to get rid of them, because I just think you're going to want them back. Like, they're just too good. And I think the bench boost, right, is best played when you feel like it has the most points potential. And even I know it's a double game week and it makes sense to play. Doublers on a bench boost, but Kane, Everton, Zinchenko and Saka have got leads. Like, you're not going to have a bench of that good a quality for the rest of the season. So I still think, for me, it's a good time to play it, even if you have Arsenal players with a single. No, Unish, I haven't made a transfer. The transfer I think I'm going to make is Henry to Estupinian, and I'm not going to take a hit. Yeah, I like that, mate. I like that, Mark. Good moves. Havertz or Felix? Slightly prefer Havertz because he takes the penalties. Who's got the terrible away record, Ben? Is that Liverpool? Already have Watkins and Tony. Can you suggest me another forward with a double game week? Let's have a look. So yeah, on the right of this table are the top forwards for expected points this game week. Isaac and Ferguson are the top two. I'd suggest their minutes are a bit doubtful, so go with them if you want to take a risk. I think Ferguson's minutes are probably a bit more guaranteed now because he's been playing so well, and the backup is Danny Welbeck. But I'd say Havertz is probably the most secure. So those three, Havertz best for minutes, Isaac best for points, Ferguson probably in the middle. And he's obviously really, really cheap, 4.6 million. Sofa score, home and away table. Let's have a look. You're gonna have to talk me through Sofa score. I don't really use it. Oh. Ah, there we go. Here it is. Home and away table. Right, hang on. I need to go back to the screen share, don't I? That's the home table. I won't go through it all. And that's the away table. I know they're the home. I just got a feeling about Liverpool. Peter, I'd go Tony too. Yeah, what Ben said, I think is the right way to play it. Ben Vlogs is making great arguments there. I feel like if your feeling is to hedge against Liverpool, then do that. I think I quite like Liverpool at the moment. Just got a feeling. But if you're wanting to hedge against them, then fine, do so. Let's see if Draft Time's up and running. There we go. It's back up and running, so I can search for people's teams. Right, I remember what yours is, Ben, so we're going to have a look. So, Ben, you're looking to free hit this week, if I'm correct in thinking. But let's see if your team is actually one you should free hit. You don't have any Brighton players, so probably, yeah, you probably need to free hit that one. Yeah, I'd free hit, mate, especially if you don't have any Brighton players. It's a nice team, but I think, yeah, with missing 3 Brighton players, I think you should probably free hit. Was there any other teams? I can't remember. NCK Footy, I think, asked earlier. If you're still here, mate, Draft Time's working again. If you let me know your team name, I can have a look at it. We'll keep Ben Vlogs on the team for the time being. I know, Ben McCrum, you asked me a question earlier. I hope I answered that for you. I think I did. I wouldn't be rushing to take out the Arsenal players for a hit, in my opinion. Like Saka to Bruno, I don't think there's 4 points in it. Brick Hill United, happy to have a look, pal. Ooh. Here he is. By the way, if you're either new to the channel or just enjoying the stream, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave me a like rating on the stream if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. It'd be great to have you on board. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and yeah, it'd be great to have you along for the journey with me. It makes it all worthwhile. I really enjoyed doing these streams, so there'll be one every week that I'm available, and I do 2 or 3 FPL videos a week. Let's have a look at this guy's team. Brick Hill United. Quite a lot of people with Kilman in their team still. You know what, mate? This is honestly one I would consider free hitting. Because if you think for blank game week 32, your team won't have too many blankers in it. And then if you free hit, I think I'd free hit this week. I really do. And then you'd have Salah back for 32 when he's the best captain. You can't see that on the screen. Yeah, FPL Associate, I think I'd free hit this one. And with a team something like this. I think I'd free hit if I was you this week. Because, yeah, you need to buy yourself 2 Brighton players. You don't have enough double coverage. I think I'd free hit. I think free hit's a perfectly viable option for you this week. Kepa Shaw. I'll have a look at yours in a second, Ben. Kepa Shaw, Trippier, Chilwell, Rashford, McAllister, Matoma, March, Maddison, Havertz, Ings. Players who I don't have, who I worry about, Salah, Bruno, Bowen, Estupinian. I'd worry about Estupinian, but I think, yeah, you've got the Brighton triple up. Yeah, I think that team's absolutely fine, mate. I'll have a look at Ben's team and then Khalid's team. Good feature, isn't it? Draft Hound, check it out. I don't have an affiliate link or anything yet. It's just a really good resource that they've allowed me to use on stream. So I have a premium subscription to Draft Hound, kindly gifted to me, and on the agreement that I use their stuff in the stream, basically. So I'm not selling anything to you. I'm just, yeah, I'm helping you improve your team through Draft Hound myself. But there is always an option to use it yourself and sign up for a subscription for this service as well. Ben McCrum, what are your plans this week, mate? Are you bench boosting? You're going to be wanting the Haaland news, aren't you, to see whether to take a hit or bench boost? I'd definitely obviously sell cash because he's injured. And I'd bring in Estupinian. Yeah, perfect move. I'd almost be half tempted not to bench boost this team. Let's see what you can make. Actually, no, that's a lie. I would bench boost. Because, yeah, your bench will be Martinelli, Saka and Haaland. Or Danny Ward doesn't play, does he? That's another thing. Danny Ward's probably not going to play. He's already used it. That's fine then. If you've already used it, you're sound. I wouldn't worry too much. You can just leave those guys on the bench. Yeah, I think you're probably gifted then. You don't really have to worry about Haaland. Yeah, I think going for Estupinian is, yeah, it's what Draft Hound suggests is the most profitable transfer. Yeah, I like it. K squad. Hopefully that helped you there, Ben. Khalid, is this your team? I'll leave it up just for you to confirm because there's quite a few people with K squad as their team name. But if this is you, mate, just say and I'll press the confirm button. I'll have a look at yours straight after Dakshin. Nice one, mate. I will have a look. Another cash owner. That's unfortunate. You've already got Estupinian. Oh, mate, that's a definite bench boost this week. The thing is, you'd probably want to take a hit on this to do. Yeah, you're probably going to want to get rid of Cash and Ward. I'd bring in Steele. Yeah, you could bring in Steele. And then 6.4 in the bank. Probably bring in Shaw. I'm just playing around with your team a second, thinking aloud, so bear with. And then your bench boost will be Steele, who's the top goalkeeper for expected points this week. It doesn't really matter because you're bench boosting. Yeah, that's how I'd go. I don't think Odegaard and Saka are bad, like to have on your bench for a bit. What I'll do is I'll put the single game week players on the bench. It's being a bit slow. I know Saka, Odegaard, Zinchenko and Kane only have a single game week and you're probably putting your captain on someone else, but this is how I would line up and I would still bench boost. So you're taking a -4 to get rid of Ward for Steele, but Steele is back to get over 8 points this week and Ward probably isn't going to play any, so that's definitely worth a -4. And then you had Cash, didn't you, who is injured, and I'd go probably for Luke Shaw. And you've still got your free hit available, so you could free hit all of the players that don't play in 32 out of your team. This is probably how I'd go for you, mate, to be honest. To be fair, Shaw, like, there's other defenders at his price that you could go for. You know, well, yeah, they're suggesting Shah and players like that. Lots of options. I think Shaw's probably the best. But yeah, Khalid, hopefully that helps you, mate. That's how I would go if I were you. And then I wouldn't have a problem at all with 3 single game week players using your bench boost because they're 3 really good. No, I don't think Estupinian will get rotated. I'm not going to repeat your team named action, but I'll have a look at it. Oh, I need to go. All you guys, your dirty team names. Spelt it wrong. No worries, Khalid. I'm not saying follow my advice exactly, because the last thing you want to do is follow the decisions of a bloke on YouTube that you're not happy with. But if you can resonate with some of what I said, hopefully that's helpful. The last thing I want to do is like dictate to people the transfers they make. That's not cool. So I'm looking at Dakshin's team now. Another guy that's definitely going to be eagerly awaiting the Haaland news. Oh, this is a really nice team to bench boost this, mate. Reece James, I think if you're happy to take the punt on him, go for it. The transfers out I would make this week. Let's have a look. So you've got 2 frees, which is really nice. I'd definitely wait on the Haaland news, see what's happening with him. You could quite easily use one of your free transfers to maybe bring in Havertz. So you could do that. Yeah. All depends on Haaland, basically. And then Gabriel could probably go for Estupinian, I would suggest. Let's bring him in. I think that's the one transfer I would make, definitely. And then it just depends if Haaland plays, really. If Haaland plays, I'd probably go Odegaard to McAllister. And if Haaland doesn't play, I'd probably go Haaland to Shaw for Gabriel, fine. I do think Estupinian's better than Shaw, though. So yeah, I'd probably go Odegaard to McAllister if Haaland's fit, and then if Haaland is injured, I'd probably go Haaland to, I don't know. You got lots of options. I mean, the top forwards for expected points are here, so take your pick from that list, really. But yeah, it's a nice teammate. You're in a really good position for your bench boost, I think. Kane or Felix is really tough. Okay, Mushoki, I'm going to try and pronounce your name. What I do have, I'll go back to the screen for it. What I do have is a coin. This is a coin from Indonesia that I can flip for you to help make a decision, because I do think Kane versus Felix is very tight. And I don't have anything major to decide between them. So I'm quite happy to flip the coin for you if you like. So I'm going to do it for you. So this 500 sign is Kane. The bird side of the coin is Felix. We said Kane for that side, didn't we? Harry Kane. What I'm also going to do is, while I'm on this screen, I'm going to set up a spin the wheel of fortune for captaincy as well. By the way, if you're new to the stream, new to the channel, or just genuinely enjoying it, please make sure to leave a like rating. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, if you're new, I'd really appreciate it as well if you could subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. Said this a few times, but I'm really keen to try and get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and it'd be lovely to have you along for the journey with me. So yeah, if you're enjoying what you're seeing and you want to see more of me, and I also do a couple of podcasts with a mate of mine, Sam, as well. So yeah, me and Sam will keep you entertained on this channel if you fancy subscribing. Spin the wheel. Oh, it depends on Haaland's fitness, mate, quite simply. I guess the question is, Haaland, he's not going to come off the bench this week if he's not fit, in my opinion. He's just not going to be in the squad. So I'd probably start Haaland, have Jensen first on my bench. Then if Haaland doesn't play, Jensen can just take his place. That's probably what I'd do. You're looking at my face in full screen at the moment because I'm picking players for captaincy for the Wheel of Fortune. And then that's going to decide your captaincy. So I'm going to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pick the top 5 players for expected points this week. And then we're going to spin the Wheel of Fortune. So if you want a differential captain, this might be the way to go for it. You ready? The Wheel of Fortune. Spinning the wheel. McAllister. McAllister is the winner. So yeah, anyone asking for a differential captain? There's your man. He won the Wheel of Fortune. Congrats, Alexis. Fofana to Zuma, I'd absolutely not make that move. I think Fofana's a great option this week. Probably plays both games for Chelsea. I think Chelsea have got decent, apart from maybe the Liverpool game. But you could still see a clean sheet happening in that game. I think Fofana's a great option. I would not get rid of Fofana for Zuma, in my opinion. I don't think West Ham have been good enough defensively either to justify that. I don't think Fofana is injured. It says in the game that he is, but I'm not sure he is actually. Should we have a look at some Fofana injury news? I'll pull up the old. It's probably time to pull up Twitter, isn't it? To have a look, see what's what. Oh, it says Wesley Fofana is out. Okay, my bad. I didn't realise he was injured. I probably would do Fofana to Zuma then. Yeah. I do think there are lots of better options than Zuma, though. That was the reason why I was so against bringing him in. I mean, if you look at that list on the right, obviously ignore Fofana if he's injured. Those are the top players for expected points this week. Morning, George. Nothing about Haaland yet. I'm going to do a Twitter scroll, see what's happening. Oh, there's someone at my door. 2 seconds. Sorry, folks, just had a parcel arrive. I'm going to cover my address, but yeah, my girlfriend is doing a gap year in New Zealand at the moment, and she sent me a parcel about a week ago, and it's arrived in a week from New Zealand. How incredible was that? So I'm excited to open that at the end of this live stream. Sorry, folks, just catching up with the chat while I was just answering the door. Pope, Chilwell, Trippier, Shaw, March, Jensen, Odegaard. That's a lovely team. Yeah, like that. I'm not sure about Jensen, but you seem to fancy him if you've got him in your team, so why not? Ward or Sanchez? Oh my God. Both of those guys probably aren't going to play, so I'd go for neither. Ward, everyone's back in Iverson to play this week. And yeah, I don't think Sanchez is going to play either. Will Haaland play in game week 30, 31? I think he will. I think he's going to miss this week, and then he'll be back fit for Southampton in 30. So that would be my view on Haaland. I've left enough cash in the bank with my team to buy Haaland back. The reason I'm on Twitter is to have a look-see at if there's any Haaland news. So let's have a look. This guy, Team News and Ticks, is the one to go to. No, nothing yet on him. Obviously, it's April Fool's Day as well, so you've really got to take things with a pinch of salt today. Any suggestions for my team? Boo Boo, just let me know your team name. It's further up the chat, so I'm not going to be able to find it again. Just let me know your team name and I'll have a look, bro. Already taken 3 transfers for a -4 to prep for a bench boost. Do I do another getting Haaland out? I think Haaland, it depends on if there are any leaks. It really depends if there are any leaks. I'm just going to see if anyone's got anything. So there was a bit of insider information from someone, Folsey, who apparently has had insider information about Man City before. It's not so yeah. People saying they can't vouch for him, but he's not pranking, and he thinks that Haaland is out. So this is the news we've got about him so far. And exactly, like, there's no way to transfer him out. It just depends whether you play your bench boost or not for some people. And I think for Ben, I remember you had him on your bench and didn't have your bench boost left. So yeah, I mean, just keep him. He's the best captain next week. Jensen to McAllister could be worth it. It really could be worth it. I just don't fancy Jensen at all. And McAllister, I think, could quite easily score 4 more points than him, or more than 4 points. Hi, mate. Saka to Bruno, Zinchenko to Shaw, me to Estupinian for a -8, then bring in Haaland for Tony next week. I'm not big on taking out these Arsenal players for hits. I'll show you. I'll go back to my team. I'm not going to do that. So I have the option to get rid of Odegaard. But I'm not going to do it. Because I think, this is my team, I just think that Zinchenko and Saka are really good options. And I don't think they're going to score 4 more points than those guys this game week. Areola, Shaw, Trippier, Dunk, March, McAllister, Rashford, Bruno, Madison, Watkins, Havertz. Yeah, I really like that team, Vishal. Just a bit doubtful on the West Ham goalkeepers. You just don't know who's going to play. And that would leave me in a bit of doubt. I just think Fabianski, Areola, who's going to play, you just don't know. Let's have a look at your team, Boo Boo. Is this you, mate? 34k overall. That's bloody brilliant. Let me know if that is you, and then I'll confirm. I prefer Bruno. Ooh. Bruno and Estupinian. Yep, Bruno and Estupinian. I think Brighton's clean sheet odds are really good. They easily keep 1, probably 2 clean sheets. Don't see necessarily a Man United clean sheet against Brentford and Newcastle. And Bruno and Matoma, don't think there's too much between them. I don't think Odegaard to McAllister might be worth it. It depends. If you're free hitting in 32, then it probably is worth it. If you're not free hitting in 32, it probably isn't. The one thing I'd say about Odegaard is he's probably along with, Martinelli's probably better now. I just think Trossard's been taking his attacking returns away. So yeah, I think I prefer, I think that could be worth it for Odegaard. Yeah. If you're not free hitting in 32, then yeah, that would hurt too much. Don't take out your Arsenal players. It depends, Fischel. Are you playing your bench boost this week or not? Because if you're not playing your bench boost, just buy Haaland. And then you save yourself a transfer for next week. I don't think you can play your bench boost if you're on wildcard. I just buy Haaland because I think he's going to be back next week. I'm gonna take the punt that this is Boo Boo. This is his team. It's a brilliant team. Brilliant team. I'm not sure actually that I would bench boost this. I think I wouldn't, and I'd use my free transfer to do Tarkowski to Estupinian. And that would be my team for this week. Something like that. And I wouldn't bench boost it. I think you're best off waiting for a later game week because I don't think I would bench boost that. Especially with Ward and Haaland, who might not play. That's not a strong enough bench to bench boost. But it's a lovely starting 11. Maybe you could do that. Because he's not going to... If he doesn't start, he's not going to get on. He's not going to play any minutes. So your bench is going to replace him. So maybe you start with Haaland and just take the punt. Hello, NCK Footy. Draft Time's working again. I couldn't show your team earlier because the app wasn't working, but it is now. So if you let me know your team name, I can, more than happy to take a look, mate. I imagine it's an explicit one that I can't repeat, so let me know in the chat. No, it's just called NCK Footy. That was easy. Yeah, no bench boost. I really like that team, Boo Boo. I think that's a sick team. What we got here then? This is NCK's footy team. Bloody lovely. Have you made any transfers yet, mate? Or what are you considering doing? We've got exactly, to the player, exactly the same team. And what I'm doing this week, I've just realised that we literally have player for player the same team. And the moves I'm making this week, I'm doing one. I'm taking out Henry for Estupinian. And then that's it. That's all I'm doing. And I have enough cash to bring Haaland back in next week, but I don't think you do. I think, I think you probably should sell Zinchenko because that might give you enough cash for. Let's just do this. I think you should bring in Estupinian over Shaw. And the reason you do that is because it might give you enough cash to buy. Go back to Henry. It might give you enough cash if Haaland goes down in price, which he might well do. You're in a bit of an annoying budget position there, aren't you? He's not back to start. Why would it? That is Haaland. Ben, don't worry. It's very much allowed. Don't worry about it at all. Yeah, you're 0.1 off getting Haaland back next week. I would do Zinchenko to Estupinian if you were thinking of getting rid of Zinchenko. I think Estupinian's better than Shaw. I say that as a Man United fan. Yeah, fair enough. If you've got a gut feeling about Jensen, then back it. The last thing you want, and I say this to a few people, the last thing you want is some mug on Twitter telling you to transfer out a player that you've got a feeling about, and then it doesn't work out. So stick with Jensen. If you've got a feeling about it, mate, go for it. It's not, don't worry, Ben, at all. Let's have a login to Sky. I'm going to change my screen so no one can see my login details. 2 secs. Zinchenko to I'm just not sure about Estupinian in Sky. I'm guessing you're on 3 at the back, so you have to do a defender swap. Right, we're on. How much do you need? What's your budget if you want to load up on Liverpool? I think that would be the question. But like with Shaw, I'm just not. I definitely think he's an option to bring in. Don't get me wrong. But I just think the clean sheet odds, the chance of Brighton keeping a clean sheet this week is far better than Man United. Would you do? Sorry, Jeff Johns missed your question. Would you do Zinchenko, Saka, Odegaard, Haaland to Shaw, Maddison, Bruno, and Havertz? -8. I would get rid of Odegaard for no hit and then leave the rest of the guys in. 6.6 million is very good. 6.6 million is very good. Well, let's do a filter on, say, defenders, sub 7 million. I imagine that's your budget. Yeah, I thought that might be your budget. So Shah's up there as an option. I imagine scrolling down the list, there's going to be no one but Estupinian, isn't there? Tim Ream. But no, I think you're probably right on Estupinian. And he ain't bad for tackles tier either, by the looks of it. He's all right for tiers. Yeah, go for it, Estupinian. I don't like the idea of selling Zinchenko, but I feel like you've got a feeling about it, so do it. And that's my Sky team, by the way. I did Saliba for Dunk this morning, just in case I forgot to do my team. What I'm also going to do is, I know you guys probably won't be too interested in this, but I'm going to flash it up anyway. Fan team. Would you give me... Yeah, the thing is with the... I completely understand where you're coming from with making transfers for the bench boost. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think Saka and Zinchenko on your bench against Leeds for a bench boost is the worst thing in the world. I think there's a lot of hype around bringing double game week players in for the bench boost. But when Arsenal have got such a good fixture, when are you ever going to have Saka on your bench against Leeds at home for the rest of the season? I still think that's a great option, even though it's only a single. That's sort of where I come from on that. I don't have a problem with just having really good single game week players on your bench for a bench boost. You got a question mark over Resty? Fine. If you feel that, then fine. Like I'm not gonna dictate transfers. That's not my business. Like if you have a feeling, then totally get that. Go with Shaw. Dallow's not stay for starts. No, I don't know who the starting right back is for Man United, and it's a real shame because I would be picking Dallow if he was nailed, but he's not. So unfortunately, you can't do that. Here's me fan team. I don't know if anyone plays fan team that's watching this, but I'm currently 39th overall in fan team, winning 126 quid, which is better than a slap in the face. I've got my wild card is active this week, and this is the team that I'm going with. I've gone for Jared Bowen and Castagna. Ugh, Castagna, but he's the best of the mid defenders for that price. Don't know if any of you guys play fan team, but that's what I'm looking for in that. I'm quite happy with that team. And Solly March is a defender in this game. How good is that? Yeah, Nicola, at the start of the season, I paid £5 as the buy-in for the full season game in fan team. And I think you get money back for finishing like in and around the top 5,000. So if you're in the top third, you either get your buy-in back or a prize pot. So yeah. Go back to FPL now. Right now, you've got Raya, Kane, Henry, and Botman. Yeah, that's fine. That's why I played my wildcard, Ben, now, because I think this team gets through it quite nicely. And I'll have to use transfers, but I can just build them up as the weeks go on. And I've got an entire bench. Well, Haaland, but I've got a bench of players that don't blank, so I think I'm going to survive it. Yeah, pretty much, Nicola. If you're any good at fantasy football, you should be able to make your money back on Fan Team. The rules are slightly different, but yeah, I think it's a good game to play. Oh, if you don't have your bench boost, then you're yeah. But I guess from your team selection, it makes it a bit easier. Do you think transferring out all Arsenal players and Man U players and Fan Team is a good call, or is that really bad in this format? Well, I've done it because I've got my wild card, but I will be bringing back my Arsenal players for the blank game week. So, same question for Sky. Not this week in Sky. No, I mean the double game week doesn't matter so much in Sky. I'd probably hold my Arsenal lot, to be honest, in Sky. Should you take Odegaard out for March? Yeah, I quite like that move, especially if it's not for a hit. Thank you, Not So Template. It's good to have you in here. I've been loving your videos recently, mate. You've been doing a great job on your channel. Best defender under 4.8. Oh, that's a good question. Let's have a goosey gander at that. Oh, it's Ben White. Ben White, but I guess he doesn't have a double, but... It's probably Dan Burn. This bloody interface on FPL is awful. Why is this like transparent? It's disgusting. But yeah, I'd probably go Dan Burn. I think every game I've watched Newcastle play, he's nearly scored from a corner every time. Henry to Estupinian for a hit. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that could be worth a hit. I think Estupinian will start today. I don't think there's going to be anyone confirming it. But I do think he'll start. No need to spam the chat, Carl. I saw your message. Only transferring out the Arsenal players for Man U players tomorrow. I mean, Saliba to Dunk. Yeah, Saliba to Dunk is okay. I've done that move. Would you sell Martinelli for Gibbs White? No. No, I wouldn't do that. Barmy Army, that sounds ominous. Are you saying here we are again as in a bad thing? The message definitely got my attention, Kyle. I don't know how you got the emojis so big, but it worked. No need to spam my chat though. I pretty much read. I don't have... I say this is a very... I don't need your sympathy. I don't have enough viewers where my chat goes so quick that you need to do that. But yeah, thanks for the question, mate. Thanks for watching. No problem at all. And yeah, if you're new to the stream, I think we got a couple of new people in. Please leave me a like rating if you're enjoying my company, and subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. I do one of these every week, and also make 2 or 3 FPL videos a week as well. So if you want to see more of me, please make sure you subscribe. Already have double Newcastle defence. West Ham defender worth it? I mean, maybe. These are the top defenders for expected points in... To be fair, the West Ham defenders are... Zuma is higher than any of the other Newcastle defenders. Oh, thank you very much, Nicola. I really appreciate that, mate. It's very kind of you. The intentions were to do your team at 3 a.m. Well, I hope that's 3 a.m., not 3 a.m. UK time, or you work nights or something, because you don't need to be up at 3 a.m. doing FPL, mate. You should be sleeping. Get your rest. I know FPL can be hard for people though, and give them a lot to think about, but it's just a game, mate. You shouldn't be making transfers at 3 a.m. Juntao, I think just for the selection of defenders that are actually available, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. If you couldn't sleep. I'd probably go 2 midfielders, 1 defenders, and that's just because I think on paper the three Brighton mids are the best for points. But I think with the selection of defenders this week, I think Estupinian is far too good not to have. So Estupinian and then 2 of the midfielders, I think, is the best way to go. Oh, Not So Template. That's very kind of you, mate. Thank you very much. What transfers did you make, Barmy Army? I'd be interested to know what your 3 a.m. thoughts actually were. Let me know. No, and it depends, Daction. If you're looking to bench boost this week, then yes, Felix, because you're going to need him. But if you're not, you could just quite happily bench Haaland and then just captain him next week and save the transfer. Like it, mate. Like the moves. Yeah, if you're looking to bench boost, I'd wait for the Haaland news if it comes. Like I was showing earlier, if this tweet loads. Yeah, so this is the... That's the insider knowledge we've got about Haaland at the moment. Seems to be the most reputable account that's tweeted something. But it could be a joke. It's obviously April Fool's Day today. He did tweet this on the 31st, though. I think all those Brighton players that have travelled a long distance will be fine. They'd have been given a private jet with a bed in it, and they'll be fine. They won't be jet lagged. I'm sure they'll be fine. Just out of interest, if you're a wild card, in what formation would you lean towards? Ooh, good question. To be honest, I don't think... Well, this might help you. This is Draft Town's top dream team, so top players for expected points for the week. I don't really think there's an ideal formation, really, I've got to say. I think it's heavy on midfielders and yeah, so probably 5 midfielders. It's probably a 3-5-2 or something like that this week. But yeah, this is the dream team according to Draft Town. Good to hear from you, Brisky, mate. Good to have you back. Kyle, I'd say on selling the Arsenal players, it depends what your plan is in Game Week 32. If you plan to play your free hit in 32, then you could well get away with selling Arsenal players. But if you don't, you're going to want your Arsenal players for Game Week 32. I think McAllister is a better captaincy option than Maddison. He plays for a better team and he's on the penalties. I think James, if he plays both games, is a better option than Shaw. I think that's probably why he's up there. Haaland for Isaac or Watkins. Yeah, triple Chelsea. I'll go back to this screen so we can have a look. Oh, God, that's so tough, Brisky. The thing is, right, Isaac is the top striker for expected points this week. Watkins is down there, 3 less expected points, but he's more nailed. I think it's really tough. And if you would like, I can do a coin flip to help you decide. Kovacic scored 2 v Turkey. Very lively international break. Not bad. Too bad he plays where, yeah, I don't like Kovacic for Chelsea. And Kante's going to come back as well. So when Kante's back in that team, surely the 2 Chelsea midfielders are going to be Enzo Fernandez and Kante. Surely. I don't have a choice. I think it's 50-50. My choice will be the coins. So I'm going to go. This side is Isaac. This side is Watkins. The coin says Watkins, so that's my choice. And I think Watkins is a safer one for the longer term as well. He's got a decent injury record, and I'd just suggest he's more nailed. My captain is Rashford, mate. I think he's just got too much upside to ignore. So I'm just going to captain Rashford. We did the Wheel of Fortune earlier. I've got rid of it now, but it said McAllister. So if you want to know what the Wheel of Fortune said, it said McAllister. I'm going to go Rashford, and these are the top players for expected points this week. Oh, last minute captaincy switches, is it, mate? So I was just responding to a comment on one of the videos. Someone was asking if they should do Henry to Estupinian for a hit. Why not? Why not? Matoma last minute. What other players do you have, Barmy Army? Please say. Yeah, let me know what other players you have. No need to be negative about it, mate. The game's gonna be more fun if you imagine it going in positively. Yeah, go for it. If you let me know your team name, mate, I can crack it into Draft Town and we can have a look. Maldini's. Oop. I see with rank 2 million, you're probably going to want to go different to gain rank, aren't you? So let's see. I would definitely bench boost this team. Me is Zuma. You've gone from Ben Me to Zuma, have you? Okay. Martinelli, you've gone for Madison. Tony to Isaac. Ooh, okay. And bench boost. Yeah, fine, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, so you punt, you know, if you're thinking with your, you know what, I'd go for Isaac. I just think he's really fun and his expected points are really good this week. The brain would say Rashford. And yeah, you could go for a Brighton midfielder if you wanted to be different as well. Nicola, this is Draft Hound. Their logo splattered all over my stuff. But yeah, this is Draft Hound. It's a free-to-use website, but you can only see the projected points for the week. I don't know how much it is to subscribe. They've kindly given me. I'll be completely open about like what they've done for me. They've given me a free like premium account to use on stream, like it's just as a way to like advertise their services. I don't have an affiliate link, unfortunately, for you to sign up with. I don't make any money out of you signing up. But yeah, I think it might be £5 a month, something like that, for this sort of view of your team. And you can search up anyone in the game and find out what their team is looking like, as I'm doing here on stream. I would say you've obviously brought Isaac in because you back him to play both games, right? That's the only reason you'd bring him in for Tony, because you're worried about Tony getting banned. So you'd back Isaac to play both games. And yeah, if you want to go different, I think I'd captain him. Because if you brought him in on the basis you think he's going to play both games, you could well captain him on that basis. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just planting the seed of the idea, because I think that's possible. I wouldn't worry too much if you can't bench boost Brisky. It's not the end of the world. Two options: keep Haaland, sell Mahrez to Madison, or should I sell Haaland to Watkins? I'd sell Mahrez, bench Haaland, and then play him next week when he's back fit. Definitely sell Mahrez for Madison. Definitely. Kind of feel like Tony to Isaac for a -4 could backfire. Yeah, I think it could. But if this guy is backing like his gut to do that, then I think there's logic behind it. And yeah, I think Isaac's going to share minutes myself. But obviously, Barmy Army's brought him in expecting him to play both games. So Go back to my team. I think I'm going to make my transfer. Why not? I definitely think Isaac's been brought in as like the long-term striker replacement for Wilson, hasn't he? I've just got to make sure I've got enough points to money to bring in Haaland if I want him. Yeah, I do. I've got enough, so I can go Tony to Haaland next week. So I think I'm going to do Henry to Estupiñán. Confirm it. There we go. My team's locked in. Tony's not going to be my vice captain. I'm going to give it to Matoma. And then I'm going to do my bench boost. There we go. Please tell us if Haaland is injured. I'm so sorry. The news we've got, right? There's one account that is apparently slightly like reputable. I don't know how much is in it. Mind. Where's the tweet? So this account, Folsey, apparently he's reliable. He's been right in the past. Saying that Erling Haaland's out of the squad tomorrow. So he is saying he's out. Obviously Pep's not confirmed anything. He's been totally coy, as Pep always is. But this guy has got some insider information saying Haaland is out. Let's see if our mate T News Antics has got anything. He's not got anything yet. I'm just going to check those Twitter DMs a sec to see if there's anything. I won't share my DMs on stream. Am I doing anything this morning? I'm going for some lunch after this. And then my team, well, my local team, Bristol City, have got a game against Reading at home at 3 p.m. So I'm going to have some lunch and then walk down to the stadium. Oh, I need to write a reminder on my whiteboard to pay for my Glastonbury ticket as well. Bear with. So yeah, that's my plan this morning. I've got to Bristol City are crap too, mate. Alex Scott, like our best player, damaged a knee ligament for the England under-20s in the week, and we probably won't see him play for us again this season. And he's literally our best player. So we sort of everything good we do sort of goes through him, really. So I'd say we're equally crap now. So yeah, we'll see. And part of my morning is going to be spent with my eyes watering while I pay £300 for my Glastonbury ticket. Isaac captain is tempting, yeah? Well, that's why I said it. Personally, I think he probably starts both, but gets limited minutes. And I do think he could return against both United and West Ham. I think Newcastle are good enough to score against both teams. I don't think West Ham are that good defensively, and I also don't think Man United are that good defensively either. Sorry, I got no bad DMs to share. It's all good. Expected points for strikers? Yeah. There you go, pal. Sorry, I might have missed some questions there. Expected points for strikers. Sorry, Daction, I was a bit slow to do that. Bristol definitely does have the ambition to go up. The problem is our owners are also some of the richest people in Britain. I don't know if you've heard of the Hargreaves Lansdowne Investment Bank. But the Lansdowne of that owns Bristol City, so net worth of, I think, over $1 billion. So they definitely have the cash and the ambition. The problem is for lower teams in the Championship is they're really restricted by financial fair play. The Championship's really unfair. I say this as a mid-table Championship team. It really benefits the teams with the parachute payments. financially. So that's why you see Norwich, Fulham. Well, Fulham obviously really good now, but they're teams that bounce between the two divisions, and that's just because financially they're so much better off than the rest of the Championship teams. The other Championship teams, they can't spend as much money because they're really restricted by financial fair play, whereas the other, like the top teams that keep yo-yoing around the Premier League, get their parachute payments every season. So it's a really unfair division, and that's why it's so hard to get out of the Championship. So they definitely do have the ambition and they've got the money. They just can't spend it because of financial fair play. What should you consider? What I would say is the fact is minutes. That's obviously a decision to consider. What else? What happens in Gameweek 32? Obviously, Chelsea have a blank, and Liverpool play. They both double this week, and then you could possibly say Nunez is a bit more of a minutes risk because I think Felix is first choice and like genuine. Well, again, is he? They're probably equal for minutes, really, aren't they? Nunez and Felix. What was that in relation to, Ben? Isolation, Havertz, and Ferguson. Most points for a striker, I think it's between. Oh, it's so tough. I don't know. I think it. I think Rashford will play both games. Who will get the most points? I really don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to sit on the fence and just say I don't know. Daction, I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. Those are the top strikers for expected points. I can't. It's so hard. It's so hard. Okay, well in that case, it's Isaac and Havertz for top points. I already said, mate, do Mahrez to Maddison. Dakshin, would you like a coin flip? Did we already do one of these? I think we already did. I could do the Wheel of Fortune if you would like, and then the wheel can spin. I'll set up a Wheel of Fortune for you. 2 seconds. I'm just setting up a Wheel of Fortune for you. All right, there you go. So this is Felix. Oh, I spelled it wrong, but you know what I mean. There you go. It's Nunez. Have I read the condition? What do you mean by that question, mate? I think that might be a translation thing. I don't quite know what you mean by that. What do you mean by condition? Is it have I read if Haaland's fit? So yeah, I've shared Team News and Ticks may have a leak. He's the most reliable FPL leak account. We also have, I keep having to go to Focal's profile because he shared a tweet of a guy who has been correct about Man City team news in the past. And he's saying Haaland is out. He won't be risked. I've read your chat about 3 times, mate. I would do Mahrez to Maddison. That's the last time I'm going to say it as well because I've said it 3 times. Mahrez to Maddison. Keep Haaland. Do Mahrez to Maddison, mate. News on Haaland. All I've got, mate, is a tweet from an account last night that has apparently gotten Man City team news correct before. And that's what he says. Nothing is confirmed. Team News and Ticks is the account to follow for that news. When he tweets something, I'll believe it. But until then, this is all we've got. And he tweeted this before April Fool's Day, so it is April Fool's today. So yeah, just be wary. Oh yeah, definitely I'd do that move to Rashford, sorry. I just don't rate Shaw and Bruno in Sky. I just don't think they're as good as the Arsenal players. Rashford definitely, because his price is good. Shaw doesn't get bonus points and probably won't keep clean sheets, so I'm not a big fan of him. And Bruno's very expensive in Sky. Rashford definitely, because he's the best captain, so I'd go for that. I think that'll pay off for you, Ben. Yeah, I don't think I was hard and fast about it. I just gave you my opinion. I'm not sure about Iheanacho. I'm not sure if he's going to play both. I've seen people that have got him in, but personally, I'm not convinced he's going to start both games. Awesome wing. Good. Glad that I could help you. Yeah, Ward seems to have been dropped, and Sam Martin, who I'm in, is becoming a friend of mine. He thinks that Ward's done in now as well. He doesn't think he's gonna start. I'm just gonna check his tweets on my phone actually. Yeah, so he's saying Iverson starts both. Iheanacho starts at least one of the games. So he's not too sure that Iheanacho plays both, but he thinks Iverson's going to play both. So it suggests that Ward has been dropped. Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Sorry if you're bored of me saying this. If you're new to the stream or just enjoying it in general, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. I make 2 or 3 FPL videos a week of a similar style to this stream. And yeah, do a deadline stream every week as well. So if you're enjoying what you see, and I really appreciate it if you could subscribe and stick around with me. Got big plans for the channel in the future. It's only going to go up from here. So yeah, subscribe and join my journey to 1,000 subscribers. I agree, Ben. I agree. But the thing is with Danny Ings is he has one of the worst injury records ever. So he could just play one game and then get injured. I think, yeah, he's probably, if he's fit, he's nailed to start both games. But can you trust him to go 2 games without getting injured? He also doesn't ever play 90 minutes because they don't trust him to. Maddison captain is an idea. I don't think it's the best idea, but it's doable. That's fair enough. Wing. As I said, I don't think Maddison's the best captain, but I think it's doable. And Liam, you can see that Wing has captain Maddison there, so someone's done it. Wing's a good player, so it's obviously a well-informed decision. After an hour and a half of being live, I'm getting towards the time where I need to go to the loo, so I might have to use the toilet in a second. In fact, I'm going to go now. I'll only be a minute or so. I don't know. What should I put up in the meantime? Is there a screen you'd like? We'll do the cap because people are asking for captaincy. I'm just going to go to the loo. But there's your top players for expected points. I'm back. Yeah, I don't mind habits. I've really got no like real affinity to any of those strikers, really. I think it's so tough. And as your top midfielders and forwards again, I think it's really tough. Really tough. Mate, Liam, I think someone in this, well, they might have left the chat now. They've done a -12, so big hits being taken. I'm not sure it's worth taking hits, to be honest, this week. As you can see, I could take hits to take out my Arsenal players, but I just don't see a reason to. Got half an hour to go to the deadline. Any last minute decisions you guys are thinking of making? What I'll do after the deadline as well is I'll stick around for a quarter of an hour just for any random chit chat. We've got Formula 1 going on as well, haven't we? It's probably qualifying. Let's see if we've got any results. I don't know if anyone here is a Formula 1 fan, but I'm just going to see where we're up to in qualifying. I imagine Verstappen number 1, Perez number 2. I mean, I've not even checked, but I think that's probably the case. Oliver, I probably wouldn't do Kane to Isaac. I prefer Brisky. It depends if you're playing your free hit in game week 32. If you are, I prefer Bruno. If you don't have your free hit or not going to play it in 32, I would go for Maddison. I wouldn't do Kane to Isaac, no. Oliver Ray, I don't think I'd do that. Don't mind Salah captain. I think he's up there for expected points. I think Ben Vlogs rightly said earlier on that Liverpool don't have a great record away from home. So that would obviously put me off a little bit. But he's not the worst option. Right, I'm looking at the F1 qualifying. Ooh. Mercedes 2 and 3. Oh, that's very good. Russell consistently faster than Hamilton. That's quite interesting. I imagine Hamilton's race pace will be better. Interestingly, the Red Bulls were only 2/10 quicker than Mercedes as well. That's good going. Alonso in 4th. That's certainly. Tell you what, that's a good result. Hopefully, we see a Mercedes v Verstappen race. I don't think you can say that Russell is way better. He was 3 100ths quicker in Q1, 5 4 100ths quicker in Q2, and another 5 100ths quicker in Q3. So that's literally like 5 100th is a small correction of the steering wheel, or I don't know, a bit of tyre slip. And the two guys will have a different setup on their cars as well. Hamilton's car might be set up better for a long run. Just in terms of the wings and all that, and the suspension setup, and Russell might be a bit more for quality. You just don't know. I think that's so close between them. I know Russell was consistently like half a tenth quicker, but I just still believe in Hamilton, mate. I still believe in Hamilton. Did Russell finish higher than Hamilton in the championship last year? Russell is a great talent, don't get me wrong, but Lewis Hamilton is the greatest racing driver of all time, in my opinion. Oh, he did beat Hamilton in the championship, to be fair. Fair play. Fair play. There are, there are like 5 or 6 drivers on that F1 grid that are easily World Championship level quality drivers. One of them is Max Verstappen. Other one's Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Hamilton, Norris. I think Alonso's up there. That's probably a lot, really. But yeah, all those guys are World Championship level drivers. It'd be interesting when Mercedes do have the fastest car, which they're getting very close to, is which out of Russell and Hamilton are the best. I think that'd be a great fight to see as well. You want a Matoma, March, and Isaac spin the wheel. Well, ask and you shall receive. I don't know if I don't think anyone knows if Rashford's going to play the full 90, mate. I think that's impossible to say. I think he'll start both games, and I think that's enough for me personally. We're going to do the correct colours for each of them as well. Brilliant. There we go. That might be purple. I'm colourblind. Sorry. There's your spin the wheel result, pal. Well, yeah, I don't know about Rashford. I already said that. I think I'm going to confirm my team. Fair enough, NCK footy. I don't mind that. I went Estupinian for Pinnock. Estupinian for Henry, because I just like the thought of having Zinchenko in my team. But yeah, Estupinian for Zinchenko is fine. I think really, if you don't have Estupinian this week, you should use a transfer to bring him in. I think he's got too much upside. Brentford, Bournemouth, I think there's 2 clean sheets there, potentially. Well, captaincy this week, there are multiple ways. So I'm going Rashford because I think he's the best captain. So that's my opinion. All right, that's my opinion. The expected points also by DraftHound say Rashford is the best captain. I did a spin the wheel of the 5 best options on this list, and McAllister won it. So, yeah, lots of information there to support your decision. Rashford. I'd just go Rashford, mate. I'd just go Rashford. When to bench boost, if not this game week? Game week 34. I think Bournemouth definitely score against Brighton as they're good under the lights. I think Seagulls can get a clean against the Bees. Yeah, fair enough. Captaincy back on Matoma. Who won your poll? It was Matoma, wasn't it? Oh, I've got rid of spin the wheel. I can't remember who won spin the wheel now. If it was Matoma that won, then nice. Matoma won. The Wheel of Fortune favours the brave. Go for Matoma. So the manager said that the players are going to have a challenge that have travelled like a long distance. So I'll just show you what he said. I'm sure it'll be like top of the list. So he's just saying it's an important test for players that have been away for their country. So he's not said that... yeah, he's not said anything that they're not going to play. Free hit in game week 32. Playing Salah, taking out Saka, then keep Salah for the rest of the season. Good move. I'm a bit confused how you're playing Saka in game week 32 on a free hit and then keeping him for the rest of the season, because that's not what you do on a free hit. Free hit's just for 1 week. I'm a bit confused by that, Oliver. Lots of ways to play it, Barmy Army. I've done my best to help you, mate. I think this is up to you now. I think this is up to you. "20 minutes to go." Ooh. Every week. Yeah, I think so. There are a few people that join this chat that are just always unsure about who to captain. I do like Chilwell in for Henry for a -4. Yeah, I do like that. I don't think Henry's really got much points potential this week, even though he's got a double. Because, like, do you see a clean sheet against Brighton and Man United? Just knowing that I've said that he's going to score a goal now. But yeah, I just think there's not enough potential in Henry this week. What's your gut this week, Barmy Army? Go with your gut. Saka to Bruno -4. I wouldn't do that. As you can see in my team, I'll flash it up. I could do that, but I'm not going to. I would suggest the logic says Rashford, mate. If you want to go logical, go for Rashford. He's just the best. That's the logic decision, in my opinion. The rest are punty, or a bit punty, or gut feelings or whatever. So go with the same, sense that you had to go for Isaac last week. Use that for your captaincy this week. I've got one more screen to show actually. There you go. There's a comparison between the three. Fair enough, Khalid. I don't hate it. I just think that Rashford's the best captain, but if you're going punty, I don't see any reason why not Matoma. That's my thoughts on the Brighton midfielders. Yeah, let me know what you guys are up to this weekend as well, other than FPL. If you want a distraction because you've made your transfers, happy to talk about anything really. Transfer Salah in game week 23 means taking out Kane and Saka for Salah and Isaac. Is that a good move? Oh, I wouldn't be planning that far in advance, mate, either. You can't plan individual transfers for game week 33. That's too far in advance. You just don't know what's going to happen. I could drop dead between now and that time. I just think I just wouldn't be making plans for that far ahead. Sorry. I agree on Bruno. I think it's so much unknown about him, which position he's going to play, how Man United are going to do without Casemiro, etc., etc. I agree. I think there's a lot of doubt around him. Whereas Saka, there's no doubt around Saka. We know how good he is. There's not, the Arsenal defence has injuries with Saliba, but the Arsenal attack doesn't. There's no doubt, in my opinion, about Saka. He's one of the most guaranteed options in FPL at the moment, I think. That's why I'm sticking with him. The only, I guess, I've not really mentioned it. It sounds like I've been a bit biased towards Zinchenko, but I do think the Saliba injury will impact Arsenal's defence. Obviously, Rob Holding's going to have to come in at centre-back for him, with Tomiyasu being injured, which means Ben White can't play there. So that obviously does affect them defensively. But it's still not enough. Still not enough to sell Zinchenko for me. I think Zinchenko's always got a chance of attacking returns. What was I looking at? Just see if there's any Twitter news. But yeah, I agree on Bruno Fernandes. I think there's enough doubt about him for me to just go for Saka instead. Yeah, be interested to know what you guys are up to with your weekends, other than watching the football and biting your nails over transfers, decision, etc. Let me know. Fair enough. I go March, mate. If you're saying every comment you're putting in is talking about captain in March, so I would go for March. I feel like if March did well and you didn't have him, you'd kick yourself. Oh, Barmy Army, mate. You gotta, well, throat killing doesn't mean stay in bed, in my opinion. It means get up and have a lemon sip. Sit on your sofa instead. Oh, mate, fasting. I'd really struggle with Ramadan. Yeah, fair play to you. What do you have a particular favourite like food to break your fast in the evenings? Yeah, I'd be interested to know. Worst, your second best goalkeeper to have. Already have Kepa at the moment. I have Raya as my second goalkeeper. I stick with Raya. The best is Steele, in my opinion, but I'd stick with Raya. I don't think there's enough in it. Birthday tomorrow, mate. Oh, nothing planned this weekend, but it's your birthday. Come on, mate. You must have something planned for your birthday, or at least come up with something. Like, you can treat yourself, even if you're on your own or whatever, mate. Treat yourself. I think the weather's going to be... Well, I don't know where you live, mate. But the weather around me in Bristol, I think, is meant to be pretty good tomorrow. I say pretty good. Don't think it's going to rain. So yeah, treat yourself, mate. Oh, nice, mate. I won't say the company I work for on here, but my head office is in Reading, so I travel there quite a bit. Quite like the town. Is it Purple Turtle, something like that? There's a bar I've been told to go to with a very weird dungeon in the bottom floor of it or something. I think it might be called Purple Turtle. Oh, samosas and pasta bolognese. That sounds amazing. Yeah, Liam, I'm sorry to hear that too. I would have what was I going to say? I would have gone for Zinchenko at the start as well. It's just a shame about his injury record, but he's my favourite Arsenal defender for sure. Are you in Australia or New Zealand, Liam? My girlfriend's living in New Zealand for a gap year at the moment. I think she's in Auckland at the moment because she's off on holiday. I would tell you my girlfriend's exact location. That's a bit weird, but yeah. Australia or New Zealand, mate. I'm guessing if your name's Liam, you're in one of those two. Also, I don't envy how difficult it will be for you to watch Premier League football games either. Are you a Reading fan? Not so template, because I'm a Bristol City fan. We've got you lot today. If you are a Reading supporter, I've heard that people have been saying that your team's pretty crap, but I wouldn't worry too much because our team's crap too. So it'll be a clash of the crap. It's be interesting to see how that goes today. But yeah, if you were going to that game, it's just down the road from me. So if you wanted to meet for, well, I'm not sure I've got time before the game actually or afterwards. Shout and go for a pint. I doubt you're going there. You probably left by now if you were. For me, mate, yeah, Rashford captain is locked for me. Rashford captain is a lock. I'm going Rashford captain. Top player for expected points this week. I just feel like he's probably the best player in the league at the moment that's playing. So, oh mate, Newcastle, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I can imagine what it must have been like supporting that team with Shearer, and yeah, it must have been amazing. I guess Shearer's your man, but did you have any other like cult heroes from Newcastle? I don't know, like Nobby Solano, players like that. I'm not sure if Reece James is going to start. He was back in training this week, so it would suggest that he's fit enough to play. So I think maybe starts 2 with limited minutes or just one of the 2 for 90. I don't think there's anything solid on Reece James. No, Fernandes is the Man United penalty taker. I'm going to see if there's any Haaland news. Team News and Ticks has not tweeted anything. No, there's nothing big about Haaland that I'm seeing. Some price fallers, but nothing mad. Yeah, Fernandes is the penno taker for. Like it, mate. Like it. Yeah, he's from New Zealand. Nice one, man. Whereabouts in New Zealand? You on the North or the South Island? Andy Cole used to play for Bristol City as well, so we claim him as one of ours. I think it's Andy Cole. It was Andy Cole that played for Newcastle, wasn't it? Yeah, he did. Yeah. Forgot to think. Unish, mate, is a screen that might help you. Top players for expected points. Keeping Botman, it depends. Like, if you have to take a hit to get rid of him, then absolutely not. You could transfer him out, but I just keep him personally. We're calling that Newcastle defence leaky, but they are back to completely full strength now after the international break. They'll have Shah, Bruno Guimaraes and Pope back. They're all back in training and seem to be fit to play. So I think we'll see a different Newcastle. Not quite. I think the defensive like form they were in was a bit of a purple patch, but I still think they'll be fine. Might not get that cleano against United, but could well do against West Ham. So I would keep Botman, yeah. And he doesn't blank in 32 as well, so he's just a good option to have lying around. Andy Cole's so underrated. He nearly broke the Premier League scoring record and he didn't take penalties. Like, people don't scoring record. So obviously Shearer's top all time, isn't he? But yeah, Andy Cole scored 187 Premier League goals and none of them were penalties. Any news on the Liverpool lineup? Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, spelt that wrong. Haaland out confirmed, is it? Where have you seen that to, Daction? Elite lineups. How many followers? You sure? If this guy hasn't said anything, then I wouldn't trust it. Okay, he's put it on Instagram, has he? All right. And as he said, he's out. I don't have Instagram to check, unfortunately. Fair enough. Haaland's out. There you go. Haaland's out, confirmed. That'll be the game frozen then. Should you see if it is actually frozen? I'm going to refresh. Maybe not. I'm locked. I'm locked and chilled. But yeah, Haaland's out, folks, if you're still watching. Isaac is definitely a punt, I would say that. Yeah, the tweet, the Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. This is a screenshot. But yeah, it doesn't start. Oh, Saka rumoured not to start. I'm not buying that. There's no way Saka doesn't play for Arsenal. If he does, then I'm completely in the mud. But I don't believe that. I think that could be an April Fool's. I think Darwin starts. Yeah, like he's too good. Like surely he's got to play against Man City. I think he starts. I don't think there's any. I've not seen a Liverpool leaked lineup or anything. Rodrigo's on the bench apparently for Leeds. No news on Liverpool, I'm afraid. I don't have anything. Bench one, Tony Caney. Oh, Martinelli. Keep him Matoma? Fine, mate. Only 2 minutes left. Nearly the deadline, isn't it? All good, man. I think Nunez is fine. I think he can do damage off the bench as well, to be honest. I think he's a great player. Very jealous as a Man United fan that we didn't buy him. Yeah, Haaland's not going to start. Is the news. And that's the deadline. Sorry, I was just dealing with something on my phone then. I'll stick around for a quarter of an hour if anyone wants some chat, but I need to go to the shop and do some shopping as well this morning. So yeah, I've got a quarter of an hour and then I need to go, I'm afraid. Go buy some Easter eggs, mate. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I saw in Tesco yesterday there were you get a Cadbury's mini egg or a mini egg Easter egg for £3, and in it you get an egg, a packet of mini eggs, and a free mug, and it's all for £3. Well, I say free, you're paying £3. But yeah, I'm going to get myself a mini eggs Easter egg for sure. Might shoot now actually because I'm getting really hungry. That's fine, mate. That's fine if that's the case. Yeah, whatever. I think that works, especially if he's not fit this week. Watkins got a double game week, and you can bring Haaland back in next week. I wouldn't worry too much about that. He's not going to start, mate. It's confirmed that he's not going to start, so it's fine. News is he's not going to start. Yeah, he's not starting. Team News and Ticks has said he's not starting. There you go. Your account got locked. Holy shit. Oh, I don't know about Saka being... And he's not, actually. He was just confirming if the rumours were true. I think if Saka... People are saying Saka's benched. If people are saying Saka's benched on April Fool's Day, then I think you know that's an April Fool's. All right, I think I'm going to leave it there, folks. Oh, been live for 2.5 hours. I think that'll do me. Thanks very much for joining. If you did enjoy the stream, please make sure to leave a like rating on it and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, if you like my style, stick around. You can subscribe to everything. And my next upload will be Sunday after the last kickoff finishes. I'm going to get a video up for then. Players to buy and avoid for Game Week 30. So yeah, stick around for that. All right. I'll go back to this screen. Hang on. You can see my mug in all its glory. I'm sorry you don't feel good, Barmy Army, but you've made your decision. You'll be fine. I think Matoma will be fine. Don't worry about it. All right, folks. I'll see you in my next video.